circle the best estimate for 450 of 15. So what did we say with every 100? Like if I said, what is 100% of 15? Tell me 15. 200% of 15. 30. So 300% of 15. 45. 400% of 15. 60. Okay, so we're at 60. And then this would be 400 plus another 50%. Well, what is 50% of 15? Of 15? 50%? What would 50% of 15 be? You got it. You took a quiz from Mr. Mabry and you got 50%. 7.5. You got half of it, right? So then you're adding another 7.5, which would be 67.5. Does that make sense? We want you to be able to do these percentages mentally. Okay, so that would be which answer choice then? See? Because it would be greater than 60 but less than 100. Okay, questions on that one? Okay, all right, next one. Suppose a small business employs 45 people. 5 years later, the same small business employs 380% of the original number of employees. How many employees are there now? So 100% of 45 would be 45. 200% of 45 would be 90. 300% would add another 45, so we'd be at 135. That would be 300%. And then we need to add another 80% to the 45. So our question now is, what is 80% of 45? Tell me one way to solve that. Kendall. Okay. You could definitely do it that way if you wanted. So you could do 0.8 times 45, which would be 36. There's other ways to do that, but that's one way. So 135 plus 36. 135 plus 36 is 171 employees. Questions on that one? Is that okay? Speak up now. It's 4th and 5th hour. Tell me when they don't get it. Okay, next question. Bacteria multiply very quickly. Assume there is a small colony of 560 bacteria increases 675%. Circle the true statements. Okay, all right, so we have 560. How many times do I have 560? 6 times, right? To make it 600. So could I just say times 6 to get me to 600? So 560 times 6 is 3,360. And then I have another 75%. So then I could say 0.75 times 560, which gives me another 420. And add those two together, so plus 3360. I'm getting 3,780. So the change in the number of bacteria is between 3,000 and 4,000. True? Okay. The total number of bacteria is 675 times greater than 560. It's not 675 times greater, is it? Isn't it 6 times greater or 6.75 times bigger? Okay, so that would not be true. Okay, the total number of bacteria grows to 3,780? Yes, true. That one is true also. Okay, any other questions about that? Okay, all right, let's go ahead and look at what we're going to do today. Today we're going to go, I feel like we've done this already, but you know what, we didn't do well on it, so we're going to just do it again, which is fine. The rest of this section just wants you to go back and figure out all types of percentages, so that's what we're going to focus on today. All right, so you should remember the percent equation. This came from topic 3. You guys did not do very well on topic 3. So, like I said, it doesn't hurt us to go back and do it again. So remember, this is the part, percent, times whole. So this is your slide to help you remember all the different parts of it. Okay, there are 3 different types that we discussed in topic 3. So if you're finding the part, this sentence might look like 1 What is 25% of 40? That means we're looking for the what, which is the part. If we're finding the percent, that's the easy one because it will always say like what percent or 5%. Like that's the no-brainer. Finding the whole, I always put in this word out of, because when I put out of, that helps me figure it out. So that's like you say to Mr. Mabry, well, how much is this quiz out of? And he says, oh, it's out of 25. And you're like, oh, that's the whole amount of the quiz. And then the part is the part that you got right. So I got 20 out of 25. Does that make sense? So that's how I always kind of figure out what the whole is. All right, so let's try some of these. Okay, so solve each percent problem. So the first one says 11 is what percent of 50? So what is missing, the part, the whole, or the percent? Percent, because it's actually in the question, right? What percent? This is the easy one. Okay, so I'm going to put it into the percent equation, which is the part equals percent times the whole. Okay, so which is the part, the 11 or the 50? What word did I tell you to add into the sentence to make it easier on you? Out. So put it right here. Out of 50. So if a quiz is out of 50, is that the part or the whole? That's the whole quiz. The test is out of 50. How many did you get right? 11. 11. Does that make sense? Okay. So I have 11 equals, I don't know the percent, so how about I put in a P times 50. Is this looking familiar? We did it before, but you guys didn't do very well. So remember that I said write it pretty, and then do what? How do I solve this basic? Divide both sides by 50. Okay, so I'm going to take 11 divided by 50, which is 0.22. So what's my percent? 22%, because that's in decimal form, right? I have to change it back to a percentage. So my percentage would be 22%. Okay, all right, next one. 25 is 4% of what number? Am I looking for the part, the whole, or the percent? And how'd you know that? Good, it already has percentage. Take it. I put out on. Yep. If I say out of what number, you're saying, Mr. Mabry, what's this test out of? What's the whole amount on the quiz we're taking today? That's what you just asked. Okay. And by the way, what does the word is mean in math? Equals, right? What does the word of mean in math? Times. So look at this. Isn't this already set up for you? Here's your 25. Bingo, bango. You put in 4%, except how am I going to have to write that? Not 0.4. 0.04, right? 0.04. And then what number? There's your variable. So now I'm just going to rewrite this so it looks a little bit more like an equation. And then how do I solve that equation? You divide both sides by 0.04. 25 divided by 0.04 is 625. Now, I always like to go back and think about, does this make sense? Okay, is 4% a very good score? No. Okay, so does it make sense? I got 25 correct out of 625. Did I do very well? No, I really stink. And so I always go back and say, does that make sense? I'm like, yes, that makes sense. If I only got 25 out of 625, that's not very much. I don't have very much. Okay? All right, what do you think about the next one? Am I missing the parts, the percent, or the whole? I'm missing the part. Okay, and so again, I could add the word out of, so I know right here that it's out of 60, and I want 40%. I used to use this one in college all the time, because in college, usually all they count is your tests. And so I would take all my tests, and then I would figure out what I needed on the final to get an A. And if I only needed 40%, did I study very hard? No, I'm like, I only need 40%. But then I'd have other classes where I need 80%. So I'd spend all my time studying for that test. Does that make sense? So I would, and then a lot of my friends would always come to me and say, can you figure this out for me? Because I don't know what I need on my final. And I'd have to figure it out for them. And it's this exact thing. So if they told me the test was out of 60, I figure out what I needed to get right. So here's my what is, so here's my equals. This is what I don't know. 40% I'm going to change to what? 0.4 of means multiply 60. So do I have to divide anything this time? No, I just multiply 0.4 times 60. That's all I have to do. So 0.4 times 60 is 24. So what this would mean to me is that I would only need to get 24 questions out of 60, correct? I would have had my 40%, and then I would have been done with class. Okay? All right, I'm going to have you guys try a couple of these and see how you're doing. All right, so here's the three equations. So in this one, I need to divide both sides by 6. So 4 divided by 6 is that. That tells what to round to. Circle the portion. No. Okay. So we're just going to round it then. So that would be what? 67% if I round to the nearest whole number. Okay. Next one, I take 0.79 times 126. 0.79 times 126, which is 99.54. So let's round that one again and get about 100. All right, and the last one I need to divide both sides by 0.04. Divide this by 0.04, so 12 divided by 0.04 is 300. Okay, so any questions on those three? How many of you got those right? Okay, we're a little over half. If you didn't get it right, if you want to ask a question. Dominic? You don't have a question, you got them right? Okay. All right, so let's look at, you know what, because of the whiteboard practice we're doing, and I want to have time to do that, kind of want to move on to that. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to stop because I want to see where you guys are. All right, so grab whiteboard supplies.